The mystery of the bacon hair and the golden button. Tim loved Roblox. He played it every day after school. His balance always showed a proud 0 Robux, which is why his avatar looked as simple as possible. Classic blocky pants, a blue jacket, and the legendary noodle hair. His friends at school often teased him, calling him a bacon hair and a noob. But Tim didn't care. Instead of buying expensive skins, he perfected his skills in the hardest obbies and simulators. One Friday night, Tim stayed up late. It was almost 3 in the morning. He was about to log off when a system message flashed in the corner of his screen. A player named Null000 sent him an invite to a private game. You think you're good at jumping, bacon? Test yourself in the glitch game. 10,000 Robux are on the line. Tim chuckled. Another scam, he thought. But his finger clicked join anyway. The monitor screen suddenly flashed a toxic green light. The computer fan roared furiously, and Tim's room began to dissolve into a digital fog. Tim tried to pull his hands away from the keyboard, but realized his fingers had become plastic and square. A second later, he fell to his knees with a gasp. But he wasn't on his bedroom carpet, he was on asphalt. Tim looked around. Pixelated trees towered nearby, and the familiar houses of Brookhaven stood ahead. The sky above was a strange purple color, and a giant Roblox logo hung where the sun should be. Oh no. Am I inside the game? Tim touched his head. Those same stiff bacon-like hair strands swayed on his head. Hey, are you real too? A frightened girl's voice called out behind him. Tim turned around. Standing there was a girl's avatar. She wore an ultra-expensive limited mask, neon wings on her back, and a glowing dragon from Adopt Me sat on her shoulder. The name-tag above her head read, Licker Mega Pro. I think so, Tim stammered. How did we get here? That Null000 lured me in with the promise of free pets. Licker cried out, tears in her eyes. And now everything is glitching. Look over there. Tim looked toward the main square. The world of Brookhaven was literally tearing at the seams. Building textures were breaking, turning into black voids. And from the central town hall, a massive black ooze with dozens of red eyes was slowly crawling out. It was Seek from the horror game doors, but he had clearly mutated because of the glitch. A mechanical voice boomed from the heavens above. Welcome to the final obby. Whoever reaches the top of the admin tower and presses the reset button will go home. The rest will be deleted from the database forever. Right before their eyes, floating neon platforms began to assemble out of thin air. It was a massive, colossal version of Tower of Hell. The platforms spun, disappeared, and deadly red lasers shot between them. From below, swallowing the city, Seek's black ooze was already rising. We need to run, Tim shouted. But I don't know how to do obbies. Licker panicked. I bought all my levels with Robux. Stay behind me and jump exactly when I tell you to. Tim took charge. His hundreds of hours of practice were finally about to pay off. They ran. Tim jumped easily and confidently. 1, 2. Pause. Jump, he commanded. Licker followed, breathing heavily. Her expensive neon dragon chirped in fear on her shoulder. The platforms were getting narrower. At 50 blocks high, the disappearing steps began. Tim, I can't do it. They're disappearing too fast. Licker screamed as the block under her foot started to fade. Jump to the yellow one. It holds for 3 seconds. Tim reached out with his blocky hand and caught the girl mid-air, dragging her onto a stable platform. The black ooze below was rising faster, making horrific, raspy noises. Only one final stretch was left to reach the top, a long, narrow pipe with rotating laser discs. One wrong move, and a player would be shattered into pixels. I'll go first and disable the lasers on the other side, Tim said. Wait for my signal. The bacon hair took a deep breath. At this moment, he didn't feel like a noob. He concentrated, remembering the timings. Jump, slide, shimmy along the edge. A laser passed a millimeter from his plastic hair. Another jump, and Tim landed on the finished platform next to a big golden button that said reset. A laser kill switch lever hung on the wall nearby. Tim pulled it, and the deadly beams shut down. "Licker, run!" he yelled. The girl bolted with all her might. But just then, Seek's massive shadowy fist punched through the platform right behind her. Licker tripped and fell into the glitching abyss below. "Tim!" she screamed, falling rapidly. Tim didn't think twice. He dived off the platform, reaching out his hand. Roblox physics seemed to slow down. He managed to grab Licker by the wing of her expensive skin. With his free hand, Tim grabbed the edge of the platform. His joints groaned under the weight. Summoning the last of his strength, Tim pulled himself up, threw Licker onto the platform, and scrambled up after her. Seek's terrifying face was already looming right in front of them. "Press it!" Both kids screamed at once. Tim slammed his square fist onto the golden reset button with all his might. A blinding white light flooded everything. Tim opened his eyes with a gasp and coughed. He was sitting in his chair, in his dark room. The screen showed the standard message. "Connection to server lost. Error 277. Was that just a dream?" Tim whispered, catching his breath. His hands were normal and human again. He clicked the Roblox icon to close the program. But then, a notification popped up in the bottom right corner of his screen. "User Licker Mega Pro sent you a friend request." With a racing heart, Tim accepted the request. A second later, a direct message popped up. "Thanks, Bacon. You're the best pro I know. Skins don't matter. Check your balance." Tim looked at the top right corner of his screen. Next to the Robux icon, instead of the usual 0, a golden number glowed. 10,000. Tim smiled, leaned back in his chair, and decided he would keep his bacon hair skin forever. After all, real heroes don't wear limited masks.